Hey everybody, we're focusing in on the OptiPlex 780 with the service tag. Born in 2010 by the looks of it. Yeah, 2010 06/11. That's when this little baby was born. So let's take a look here. Yeah, it's got the Core 2 Duo. It's got a Windows 7. It's got a power button right here. It's got your adios amigos. You got your couple of USBs. It's got optical, DVD, ROM. It's got a bay. This would normally be in the old days where the floppy drive would be. And let's see what it has here. It says here it's been ripped off. I'm assuming that's a Windows 7. This was a Windows 7 COA. There's the top side, or the one side. The other side is this guy, and it's the bottom with the rubber parts. So this could be oriented as a tower or flipped on its side to be used like a desktop. Like so. That's pretty much how we're gonna orient it when we take it apart. Oh, let's take a look at the bottom here. Is there anything of interest? Just a lot of kind of like regulatory stuff. I guess there might have been something. Looks like there was a screw there, so there's probably something if you were to stand it up as a tower to widen the base that would have fit into here and would have kept it more upright. Okay, let's see what I can do to turn this around here without damaging it too much. There we go. Okay, what do we got here? Let's orient. Well, looks like we got a half-height video card of some kind. That's cool. We got an eSATA thing, so that'll work for my backup drives. Got full range of I/O, legacy I/O. We got your, this would be known as a parallel port, serial port, VGA. You won't use that VGA because you got a different. Okay, we got 6 USB, Ethernet, and you've got microphone and audio out, and a small form factor power supply, a proprietary type. So hopefully that never goes, because if it does, then I scrap this thing for parts. But at this point, it works, I think. We'll find out. It's been sitting too long. It needs a good power cycling. To open these old systems, you just hold on this back part. I'll try and show you. Here it says that. There, you could put a Kensington lock in there, and that would actually secure the unit as well as the actual ability for people to open it. That was the thinking there. So you just pull this up. It lifts up out of the thing, out of its grooves, whatever. And there you go. There you go. Wow, that's really tight in there. So the only thing I'm seeing that I don't like at all is ventilation for this card. Wow. Talk about none. And then it has, of course, the typical shrouded fan and heatsink. It's pretty much how Dell rolled. Yeah, not a lot of space in here, eh? Sheesh. Not loving that so much. Can't be good for ventilation. Looks like it's got a couple of sticks of RAM. We'll find out how much RAM it has. And the caps, it's hard to see, but they look okay. It's really hard to do cap check on this one without taking it all apart. I'm not going to do that if it's running. Got a few good caps here and there. Yeah, I see another cap down there. Really going to be hard to know what the cap health is on this thing. I'm sure it's okay. Let's see how much juice we got to deal with here. I'm suspecting output of, well, that's unusual. I see input. I see a bunch of info about the rails. Really, output. That's interesting. Really is an odd way of doing it. Oh, here we are. Maximum 235. So these things generally run you about 220. So 235 isn't terrible. 235 isn't terrible. Hopefully this thing doesn't draw much current. Looking at it, it isn't much of a card by the looks of it. But we'll see how it performs. I'm interested. It's got to be better than the onboard graphics, I would think. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be the internals. The next thing you're going to see is me setting this up and giving it a good, thorough. Actually, it's not dusty in here at all, which is great. I must have cleaned it out. I probably took it all apart and cleaned it out at one point, because that's usually how I do things. I probably took all the shroud off and everything and did a really thorough cleanup. But, because I don't see any dust at all. But, yeah, it's been sitting a while, so there'll be a little dust inside that thing. Anyway, guys, that'll be our next stage in this OptiPlex journey. I'll be back with some more. Hey everybody, we're back. And yeah, this is my setup for this week, I guess. And we're back with the OptiPlex. And what are we pairing it with today? Well, this is a classic. This is the 4x3, 3x4, 4x3 aspect ratio, I guess. It's the square-ish, like old television shaped monitors back in the day. These were quite popular. And we'll get into the resolution of what that is and everything else. It has a nice little sound bar down here, which is great. Dial on the side to turn it up and down. These, I used to see a lot of these at retail stores for some reason. So it just was a popular type monitor. It rotates. Oh, this way. There we go. It rotates. It rotates to be like portrait style, and then it goes up and down like that. I think I'll raise it up again though. Okay, wow, this is not awkward with one hand. Anyway, there you go, guys. Very versatile monitor. I have two of them, so the best way to use them is to set them up as a dual monitor setup. But we're not going to use this in a practical sense because we're just really doing some, YouTube demo stuff. But if I was to set this thing up for real work, I would put two together, and they're nice. They're not a nice size, so they don't really dominate your entire workspace. And yeah, they're kind of ideal for like a dual monitor setup. But that's for another time. And what else are we pairing it with? Well, I've got this is called a HyperX. I forget the name of it. It's quite nice. It's a nice one. It's a nice one. It's a HyperX. Something or other. Alloy. FPS Pro. Anyway, it's nice. I like it. I just, I'm not gonna do a typing demo. This isn't what this is about. And I got my EVGA. Is that what it is? Anyway, it's a Torque X5, a laser mouse. Far too good a mouse for this size of screen, let me tell you. But anyway, yeah, it's like, it has this super high DPI, which is absolutely crazy for this screen. It's so small. But anyway, that's okay. Well, let me have a little sip of my eggnog coffee. How do you make eggnog coffee, you ask? Put a little bit of eggnog with your coffee. All right, so let's get underway with the actual spectaculars of this system. So we'll start off with the old Windows 7 info. So it's running Windows 7 Ultimate Service Pack 1, but unfortunately it's only 32-bit, which is not great. So I'm not happy with that so much, but it is what it is. It only has 3 gigabytes of RAM, so it's pretty much ideally suited for that. And it's got the old dual core, wish it was a quad core, dual core E7500 running at close to 3 gigahertz. One of the first things we want to check on is, do we have the drivers set up? We do. It's sporting an AMD Radeon HD 5450, and everything else is cleared. You'll notice it doesn't have any Ethernet, or sorry, Wi-Fi. It has an Ethernet connector. That means I have to usually set it up with my Wi-Fi extender to give it internet if I need to, which I will probably be updating it. If we go to the Windows Experience Index, these are the ratings, so very, very good for its time period. Top rating is 7.9, and you know, we got 6s and 5s across the board, so we'll see how that turns out. We can go into the specifics of the actual this AMD card, the HD 5450. We might as well, because I got a picture of it here. This is what it looks like if you take it out of the system. That's that card that doesn't have a lot of space to breathe. So yeah, but we'll see how it does. We'll see how hot it's getting and stuff like that. Probably fine. If you were intensely playing games and stuff, I could definitely see this thing overheating. It's a gigabyte version of the card. I don't know if it came with this system or not, or something somebody added at some point. I don't know. Don't know that information. I'd have to look up the service tag maybe, but why bother, right? So it's got dedicated 512 megabytes of RAM, which isn't bad for this time period. That's laughable today, but it was pretty good then. And you know, it's able to share some of the system memory as well. So yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see how it performs. The actual screen is 1280 by 1024. So that's the funky screen that it's using. It shows as detecting a secondary screen, but there's no secondary screen. So it's just obviously detecting the output for another screen. But yeah, it's not, there's no other screen connected, so yeah, glitchy, I guess, aspect of the system. All right, let's take a look at that processor. Intel Core 2 Duo Wolfdale is the code name. So that was the Wolfdale generation. They were 45 nanometer process, so a fairly large chip in terms of the actual heating aspect of it. You can get pretty warm. This system has pretty good ventilation looking at it. So there's all our different instruction sets. You'll notice this one here, which means it could be using 64-bit. So if we ever wanted to upgrade the RAM, we could probably install a 64-bit version of Windows 7, and that would benefit the system. 2 cores, 2 threads, so you know, kind of a minimal. I'd like to at least see two cores. There's the info about the board itself. Running a 2013 BIOS A15, so not terribly old. Not terribly old. Not terribly out of date in terms of the system probably being like a 2010 system or something. So at least they updated the BIOS quite a bit. And there's your X16 PCI Express, which we do have set up. So that's great. Memory is DDR3, 3 gigabytes of running in dual channel, which is great. Running it, looks like 5, well, it's fluctuating. There you go. So it's running this speed. Anyway, it's a Kingston, the first one, and you'll see the year is 2010, and that's the other one, Nanya. DDR3 running 2010 as well. So let's take a quick look, and there's your ATI Radeon graphics. Gives you a little information about the core and memory speed and stuff. So it's running at a pretty good memory speed. We'll have to see how this. I mean, now you got me piqued. You piqued my curiosity here, because I'm wondering. You got me wondering, what's this thing gonna be like running the old Nova bench? There's our sort of temp check. So this has been doing a few things actually today. So this one's kind of getting warm. This one's okay. I mean, compared to an AMD system, this is like in a freezer. But yeah, there you go. There's a sort of a bird's eye view of everything. So yeah, running at 5.3. So it's not running at the highest speed I would expect from this system. And there's your info on your graphics. Oh, I see. So the Dell graphics, it looks like, that's why it's probably showing up as 2 different monitors, the Dell graphics and then the actual Radeon graphics. Interesting. Okay. And it has the 160 Western Digital hard drive, SATA of course, and it's running, that part of the system is running cool. And yeah, it's got a DVD-ROM, great. It's got, you know, standard audio, nothing special. And let's take a quick look at that crystal disk info. And let me get a sip of coffee. That's better. For some reason I'm choking up here too early in the morning. It's 5:49 a.m. on a Sunday. That's why you hear me choking up. But there's no time like 5 in the morning to be doing one of these videos. So yeah, Western Digital, 160 gigabyte, and that many days, 1655, which is what, I think it's about 6.5 years. Is that right? Let's see. Calculator to the rescue. Okay, let's see here. So what did we say it was? 1655. And we're going to divide it by 365. What do we got? Oh, 4.5 years. So yeah, this thing's got some miles, and as a result of those miles, it has some uncorrectable sector count warning, caution. Doesn't mean it's going to die, but it does definitely tell you that it's definitely not running at it's seen some miles. Definitely seen some miles. So yeah, interesting. There we go. All right, we're at the point of no return. We are about to go Nova with the Nova bench score. I believe I turned off everything that needs to be turned off. Yep, minimal system things running. So let's give this thing a try. And I guess this is the point at which we can chit chat while this runs its stuff. So how you doing this Sunday, December the 14th, I believe it is? How's your day going? Hope you're waking up to a good morning and having a coffee like me. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, let's take a look at those. Can I get a, oh yeah, yeah, I like it. That little AMD Radeon's doing its job. I'm seeing 200s. That's awesome. Nice. So that tells me something. That tells me that this thing is doing pretty good with that combination between the CPU and the graphics card. Nice. That really boosts this thing up. I would think this would probably be running somewhere closer to the, I don't know, maybe 400 range. I think it would lose a lot of points here on the score. So maybe 400 without the graphical improvements. Actually, probably even, yeah, probably. I don't know. Hard to say. I don't have a reading on that, but, or do I? Did I ever run a old score on this? Let's see, open results. Oh yes, I did. Let's find out. So this would have been before, maybe this is before I put the card in. I can't remember putting a card in. I did put a card in then. Or I ran it without the card in it. I don't know, that's weird. Okay, but back in 2022, around the same time of year, December, apparently I ran this test, and that's interesting. Hey, little history here. This one had a 385 score, so it only, without the card, it scored 60 frames. With the card, it's scoring 224. Nice improvement. Wow. That's cool. So at the jump of 100? No, I don't know. Quite a bit. 15 and 30, 40, 50 points. Anyway, that's pretty awesome. I'm happy with that. So as long as the temps hold okay while using it, then you know, I basically should be fine. I should this card should be awesome for this particular little unit. So that's interesting. I wonder why I put that card in there. Or I don't remember. 2022. Do you remember anything that happened in December of 2022? I don't. Maybe I should be keeping a log about what I'm doing on these systems, right? That might be a good idea. Yeah, it's been a while since I actually used this one. It wasn't 2022 last time I used it. I remember I was looking through some of the notes that I had on this thing, and I was working on it a lot more recently than that. One of the things I noticed is there's a bunch of apps that I kind of call my standard apps that I install in all my systems, and this doesn't have a lot of them, so that tells me this thing hasn't been that active lately. But, you know, it's running now, and we checked the caps, a few caps we could see. They look healthy. And the system is running really well. The temps are good. And I was listening to the sound in the front. I can feel the breeze, which is great. So it's doing its job there. But also it's quiet. Like, I have some music playing, but if I had it off, you can hardly hear it. So it's great that it's a quiet system. So I'm really liking that system really a lot. It's really cool. Really happy with this little setup. So I'll definitely be getting the old, let's see here, let's do that. I want to grab it, try and get it. Thumbnail, let's pull this in maybe, bring it in a bit. But I'll definitely be getting the old range extender out to try and get everything, let's do it a little tighter here. To get everything up to date, you know, that's going to be the next part of the process here. Let's see if I can get a good clean shot of this here. Yeah, that looks good. I think so. Excellent. Yeah, so basically what I'm going to work on doing is getting the range extender out, bringing Windows 7 up to date, and I'm installing the missing apps that I like to have on these systems, and then I'll be using it for a week at least, because I want to give those caps a good chance to reform, especially the ones in the power supply. Since the power supply is one of the weaker links, I can't easily find a replacement or just go out and get a normal power supply to put in it. So there you go, guys. That's the thing to remember, is you always look at the weakest links of these systems. The power supply goes, I scrap it for parts. But I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. But that's the nature of these old systems, right? You can't. Sometimes you can keep them going forever, and sometimes you just gotta let them go. There's only so much work I'll put into most of these systems. I'm not going to be like recapping systems and stuff like that for the most part. The odd time, you know, if there's one cap you can tell it's gone, you could recap it, but to recap like 20 caps, oh, forget it. I'm not going to do it. Although you never know. I've done stranger things. Yeah, so what else can I tell you? What's new? What's new in your life? How's work? Is it good? My work is work. That's why I do this stuff, as a change of pace. It makes me a living. That's my work. Probably you have the same kind of work. And even if you like your work, after you do it for a living, making money at it, it becomes a job, right? You don't do it for fun. I do videos for fun, right? Can you imagine doing YouTube for a living? Having to run around trying to figure out a new video to do and what's trending and kind of a clickbait thumbnail I can come up with. Can you imagine doing that all day long? Or, you know, the finding something like, oh yeah, like the common thing is, oh, I did something stupid and it didn't turn out well. Yeah, I installed, you know, Windows 11 on a netbook. Wow, it didn't work out. Yeah, of course it didn't work out. I remember doing one of those kinds of videos. I knew it wasn't going to work out, and I thought, what the fuck am I doing? It was like, okay, this is strictly for YouTube and the audience, because I'm never going to do that's why I stopped making those Linux videos, because it's like, I don't even use this after I installed it. Try it out for a little while, it's like, you can't use Linux. Yeah, so after a while, I thought, you know, what am I doing? Like, am I trying to like make a living at this? Is that what I'm trying to do? No, I just want to have fun making videos, and I'd rather focus in on the hardware and keeping the system as I actually use it, because I find these old Windows 7 systems are awesome. They're great. I love Windows 7. Look at this background. That's sweet. That comes with Windows 7. That's just the way it was set up. It's a lot of color, and I don't know. They were competing with the Macification of the system to compete with Mac's fancy, beautiful looking stuff that they were putting out at the time. I think what were they doing? Lion, I think, or the Big Cats at the time, I think, and then Mavericks is where I stopped. And they went into mountains or something, but yeah, they were competing with Macs, and that's why they did the Aero display, and that got them into a lot of trouble, because PCs, they didn't control the hardware like Apple controls the hardware and the operating system, so they can integrate them better. Whereas, you know, you're trying to get a bunch of XP systems that can't hack the system, can't hack the improvements required to run an Aero glass theme like this, and then you get Vista. You know, it was a reaction. It wasn't so much the Vista, it was the fact the hardware wasn't lining up well with the software. And that's the way it goes. But this was built for Windows 7. So yeah, it was okay. Not a monolithic computer. Alright guys, that's gonna be it. Quite a handsome system. Actually, one thing I gotta give Dell credit for at this time period. Yes, they use plastic on the sides, but the thickness of this metal is quite impressive. Quite impressive indeed. Like, it is built to last. You could definitely put your monitor, even at something like a really heavy, one of the old CRT monitors on top of this, and it's not going to crumple inward. It's got some strength to it. So that's what I got to say about Dell, and at least at this time frame when they were building these systems. Built them pretty solid. And I also really like, I think I mentioned already, but I like this little idea of putting Kensington lock here so you could secure the system, but also prevent it from being opened. Because a system that's this easy to open, I could definitely see people pilfering components out of it back in the day. The other thing you could do is, if you look here, you can see it too. If you didn't want to put a Kensington lock there, you could just put a plain old lock here, and it wouldn't allow it to open up. So, you know, two forms of security. Or you could just like lock it. If you're concerned about the thing going places, you could just put a chain of some kind and a lock, regular lock. Skip the Kensington lock thing altogether. Put her there, and then secure it to something that ain't going to be easy to grab and run away with. And you also are securing the inside. So anyway guys, that's just a thought. And yeah, I'm blithering on and on, so I think that's it guys. That's going to be the last of the video. Hope you're having a great Sunday. Enjoy your Sunday. Get up, have a cup of coffee, take out an old computer, set her up, take it out for a run. Explore the old operating system on it. Check out what the last thing you did on it. Install some better apps on it. Do whatever you want. Have a great day. Talk to you later.